Welcome to Whispered Tales. Today, we will explore how to get addicted to English and speak it naturally, confidently, and fluently every day. English is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. Whether for work, travel, education, or social connections, knowing English opens doors to countless opportunities. But many learners struggle because they focus only on memorizing rules, vocabulary, or grammar, which can make the process boring or frustrating. To truly get addicted to English, it's important to understand why it matters to you personally. For some, it might mean advancing in a career or impressing colleagues. For others, it could mean understanding movies, books, or music in their original form. When you connect English learning to your personal goals, motivation grows naturally. You start to see English not as a subject, but as a key to unlocking new experiences. Another reason English is so powerful is its role as a global language. On social media, in international business, and in travel, English often serves as the bridge between people from different cultures. By learning it well, you increase your ability to communicate, connect, and influence others. The more you see English as a tool rather than a task, the more likely you are to practice it consistently. Finally, understanding the benefits of English makes learning feel rewarding. Every new word, sentence, or conversation becomes a small victory. Recognizing progress, no matter how small, keeps you engaged. This mindset is the first step to making English a natural, enjoyable, and even addictive habit. Before diving into grammar or vocabulary, it's essential to develop the right mindset. English learning isn't just about studying. It's about creating habits, confidence, and curiosity that make the language a part of your daily life. Without the right mindset, even the best methods can feel tedious or ineffective. One key mindset is curiosity. Treat English as a tool for exploration rather than a subject to be memorized. Ask questions like, how do native speakers say this? Or what phrases do people use in real conversations? This curiosity encourages you to learn naturally by observing and imitating real language in use. Another important mindset is confidence over perfection. Many learners hesitate to speak or write because they fear making mistakes. The truth is, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Embracing them allows you to practice more and improve faster. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to communicate effectively and confidently. Consistency is equally vital. Just like exercising your body, English improves when you practice daily. Even small actions, reading a paragraph, listening to a podcast, or speaking for 5 minutes accumulate over time. When you treat English as part of your everyday routine, it becomes second nature. Finally, focus on enjoyment. Make learning fun by connecting it to your interests. Watch movies, listen to music, follow social media, or read about topics you love. When learning feels enjoyable rather than forced, your brain naturally absorbs language, and your habit of using English grows stronger. Developing this mindset is the foundation for speaking English naturally and confidently. It prepares you to engage with the language actively, which is the next step in truly getting addicted to English. One of the fastest ways to speak English naturally is through immersion. Immersion means surrounding yourself with English in everyday life so that you absorb it naturally, almost like learning your first language. The more you hear, read, and use English, the faster your fluency develops. Start with listening. Watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English, ideally with subtitles at first. Pay attention not just to words, but also to pronunciation, intonation, and the rhythm of speech. Try repeating sentences aloud to practice speaking naturally. Listening daily trains your ear to understand native speakers and helps your brain think in English rather than translating from your native language. Next, focus on reading. Choose materials that interest you: articles, short stories, blogs, or books. Reading exposes you to new vocabulary and sentence structures in context, making it easier to remember and use them in your own conversations. Don't worry about understanding every word. Focus on the overall meaning and patterns. Speaking regularly is crucial. Find opportunities to talk in English, even if it's just speaking to yourself or practicing with friends or language partners online. The more you speak, the more confident you become. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Native speakers make them too. Every conversation is a step toward fluency. Finally, try thinking in English. Start with simple thoughts like describing your day, planning tasks, or narrating what you see around you. Thinking in English reduces the need to translate in your mind and makes speaking faster and more natural. Immersion transforms English from something you study into something you live and experience every day. By hearing, reading, speaking, and thinking in English consistently, your brain adapts to the language and your addiction to using it naturally begins to grow. To truly get addicted to English, it must become a daily habit. Consistency is more important than long study sessions. Even spending just 15 to 30 minutes every day can lead to significant improvement over time. The key is to integrate English into your routine so it feels natural rather than forced. Start by setting small, achievable goals. For example, decide to learn 5 new words a day, read 1 short article, or watch a 10-minute video in English. Small, consistent steps are easier to maintain and build momentum. Over time, these little habits accumulate into noticeable progress. Another strategy is to combine English with your hobbies. If you enjoy cooking, follow English recipes or watch cooking shows in English. If you like sports, read sports news or watch matches with commentary in English. This makes learning enjoyable and gives context to new words and phrases, helping you remember them better. Try to practice speaking every day. Even if you don't have a conversation partner, you can narrate your actions, describe your surroundings, or record yourself speaking about a topic you like. Listening to your recordings helps identify mistakes and improves pronunciation. Over time, speaking in English becomes effortless and more confident. Incorporate English into your digital life. Change your phone, social media, and computer settings to English. Follow English-speaking content creators, join forums, or participate in online discussions. These small changes increase exposure and help you think in English naturally. Finally, track your progress. Celebrate small victories like understanding a movie scene without subtitles or holding a short conversation without hesitation. Recognizing improvement motivates you to continue. By making English a daily habit through listening, reading, speaking, and thinking, you gradually turn it into a natural and addictive part of your life. The more consistent you are, the faster your fluency grows and the more confident you become in using English every day. A strong vocabulary is essential for speaking English naturally and confidently. But the key is to learn words in context, not just memorize long lists. Words are easier to remember and use when you understand how they fit into real sentences and conversations. Start by learning words through reading and listening. When you encounter a new word, see how it's used in context. For example, if you hear the word amazing in a movie, notice whether it describes a person, place, or event. This helps your brain connect the word with its meaning and usage naturally. Use flashcards or apps strategically. Instead of trying to memorize hundreds of words at once, focus on 5 to 10 new words daily. Include example sentences to understand how each word works. Reviewing these regularly reinforces memory and helps you recall them when speaking. Another effective method is word association and visualization. Link new words to images, experiences, or emotions. For instance, if you learn the word delightful, imagine a scene or moment that makes you feel delighted. This connection makes the word easier to recall in conversations. Active use is crucial. Whenever you learn a new word, try to use it in a sentence immediately. Speak it aloud, write it in a journal, or use it in chats with friends. Words that are actively used become part of your natural vocabulary, while those only memorized are often forgotten. Finally, embrace phrases and collocations, not just individual words. Learning common phrases like make a decision, take a break, or in a hurry helps you speak more fluidly. Using phrases makes your speech sound natural and reduces hesitation, as you're no longer piecing together individual words. By learning vocabulary in context, practicing actively, and using phrases naturally, you expand your language effortlessly and enjoyably. Over time, you'll notice that speaking English becomes smoother, faster, and more confident. Speaking English confidently isn't just about knowing words, it's also about how you pronounce them. Clear pronunciation helps you be understood, reduces hesitation, and makes your speech sound more natural. Improving pronunciation is a step-by-step process that requires listening, practice, and attention to detail. Start by listening carefully. Pay attention to how native speakers pronounce words, stress syllables, and use intonation. Watching movies, series, or YouTube videos in English is excellent for this. Try shadowing, which means repeating what you hear immediately, mimicking the speaker's tone, pace, and rhythm. This trains your mouth and ears simultaneously. Focus on problem sounds that are difficult for you. Every learner has certain sounds that are tricky, whether it's th in think, the r in red, or vowel sounds like ship and sheep. Practice these sounds slowly, then in sentences, and finally in conversations. Regular attention to these sounds improves clarity dramatically. Intonation and rhythm are just as important as individual sounds. English has a musical flow with stressed and unstressed syllables. Reading sentences aloud while emphasizing the correct rhythm helps your speech sound natural instead of robotic. Try repeating dialogues from movies or podcasts to get a feel for the natural cadence of English. Another effective method is recording yourself. Speak about your day, a story, or a topic you enjoy, then listen to the recording. Compare your pronunciation with native speakers and note areas for improvement. Over time, your speech becomes smoother and more confident. Finally, practice speaking in real conversations. Join language exchange groups, talk to friends in English, or participate in online communities. Real interactions push you to think and respond quickly, reinforcing both pronunciation and fluency. Mistakes are part of the learning process, so embrace them as opportunities to improve. By focusing on pronunciation, rhythm, and active speaking practice, you gradually train your mouth, ears, and brain to speak English naturally and confidently, making communication smooth and effortless. Listening is one of the most important skills for speaking English naturally. When you train your ear to understand native speakers, your brain starts to process English automatically, making it easier to respond quickly and confidently. Start by listening to a variety of English sources: podcasts, audiobooks, news channels, movies, and YouTube videos expose you to different accents, speeds, and vocabulary. Don't worry if you don't understand every word at first. Focus on the overall meaning and context. Over time, your comprehension improves significantly. Active listening is even more effective. Instead of passively hearing, try to repeat what you hear, summarize it in your own words, or predict what comes next. This trains your brain to process English dynamically rather than translating from your native language. Shadowing, as we discussed in the previous chapter, also reinforces listening skills while improving pronunciation. Another strategy is to listen to English daily in small doses. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused listening every day makes a big difference. The key is consistency. Daily exposure helps your brain get used to the natural sounds, rhythm, and intonation of English. Pay attention to common phrases and expressions. Listening helps you pick up natural ways native speakers express themselves. Words alone are not enough. Learning phrases in context allows you to speak smoothly and sound more like a native speaker. Finally, combine listening with speaking. Repeat sentences, use new expressions, and engage in conversations. The more you link what you hear to what you say, the faster you improve your fluency. Listening actively turns passive understanding into confident, natural speaking. By developing strong listening skills, you create a solid foundation for speaking English effortlessly. The more you listen, the more your brain adapts, and soon speaking becomes second nature. One of the most powerful steps to speak English naturally and confidently is learning to think in English. Many learners struggle because they translate from their native language in their heads, which slows down speech and often leads to awkward phrasing. Thinking directly in English removes this barrier and makes communication faster and smoother. Start with simple daily thoughts. Describe what you're doing in English, such as, "I am cooking breakfast," or "I am walking to the park." Gradually increase complexity by expressing your opinions, planning your day, or narrating events. This practice trains your brain to use English automatically, rather than pausing to translate. Another method is internal conversations. Talk to yourself in English about tasks, decisions, or ideas. For example, if you're deciding what to wear, say in English, "It's cold today, so I will wear a jacket." This creates a habit of thinking and speaking in English naturally, even when alone. Visualization helps too. Imagine scenarios in English, like ordering food at a restaurant, talking to a friend, or presenting an idea at work. Mentally rehearsing these situations prepares you to speak confidently when they happen in real life. Additionally, learn common patterns and phrases. Instead of forming sentences word by word, memorize natural expressions like, "I can't wait to see that," or "That sounds like a great idea." These ready-made phrases make speaking faster, smoother, and more native-like. Finally, be patient and consistent. Thinking in English may feel strange at first, but with daily practice, it becomes automatic. The more you train your mind this way, the less hesitation you experience in conversations, and the more natural your speech becomes. When you start thinking in English, speaking fluently and confidently stops being a challenge. Your mind and mouth work together, making English an effortless part of your daily life. Confidence is one of the most important factors in speaking English naturally. Even if you know the words and grammar, hesitation or fear can make your speech sound awkward. The good news is that confidence can be developed with practice and the right mindset. Start by accepting mistakes. Every learner makes errors, and even native speakers stumble sometimes. Mistakes are not failures, they are opportunities to improve. Embracing them reduces fear and encourages you to speak more freely. The more you speak without worrying about perfection, the more natural your English will become. Another technique is positive self-talk. Before speaking, remind yourself, "I can communicate clearly," or "It's okay to make mistakes." This mental preparation boosts confidence and reduces anxiety. Visualization also helps. Imagine yourself successfully conversing in English, answering questions, or presenting ideas smoothly. Practice speaking regularly in safe environments. Talk to friends, join language exchange groups, or even speak to yourself in front of a mirror. Recording yourself can also help. Listening to your own voice allows you to identify areas to improve and celebrate progress. Body language and tone are important too. Stand or sit upright, maintain eye contact, and use a natural voice. Confident body language reinforces the impression of fluency and helps you feel more self-assured while speaking. Finally, start small and gradually challenge yourself. Begin with short conversations or sentences, then progress to longer discussions, debates, or presentations. Each success builds confidence, creating a positive cycle where speaking becomes easier and more natural. One of the best ways to get addicted to English is by using it in real-life situations. Classroom learning and study materials are helpful, but real progress happens when you apply English in everyday life. The more you use it naturally, the faster your fluency improves. Start with simple daily interactions. Order food in English at a cafe, ask for directions, or make small talk with coworkers or classmates. These small steps may feel minor, but they build confidence and turn English into a practical tool rather than just a subject you study. Travel and social experiences are also powerful. If possible, travel to English-speaking environments or participate in online communities. Speaking with native speakers or fluent learners exposes you to authentic expressions, accents, and conversational flow. You learn the kind of English people actually use, which is often very different from textbook English. Role-playing is another effective technique. Practice common scenarios like ordering at a restaurant, introducing yourself, making requests, or giving opinions. This prepares you for real interactions and reduces hesitation when similar situations arise naturally. Using English in writing is equally important. Send messages, emails, or social media posts in English. Even journaling about your day or writing short stories helps you think in English, expand your vocabulary, and improve sentence structure. Finally, embrace challenges and discomfort. Speaking English in real-life situations can be intimidating at first, but each interaction is a step toward fluency. Over time, using English becomes natural, enjoyable, and addictive because you see tangible results in communication. By practicing English in real-life situations, you reinforce your skills, gain confidence, and make the language a living, practical part of your daily life. Listening and imitation are two of the most effective ways to speak English naturally and confidently. Just like babies learn their first language by listening and repeating, adults can improve fluency by copying how native speakers talk. Start with choosing a source you enjoy: movies, TV shows, podcasts, or YouTube videos. Pay close attention to pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. Notice how words are connected, how sentences rise and fall, and how emotions are expressed. The goal is not just to hear English, but to feel the language in action. Next, practice shadowing. This means repeating what you hear immediately, mimicking the speaker's pace, tone, and expression. Start with short sentences and gradually move to longer dialogues. Shadowing trains both your ears and your mouth, helping your speech sound smooth and natural. Imitating accents and expressions can also help. While perfect mimicry isn't necessary, noticing how native speakers stress certain words or use phrases naturally makes your speech more authentic. Over time, your brain begins to adopt these patterns automatically. Another tip is to record yourself. Listen to your speech and compare it with native speakers. Identify differences in pronunciation, rhythm, and tone, then adjust accordingly. This self-feedback loop accelerates improvement. Finally, remember that consistency matters more than intensity. Even 10 to 15 minutes of focused listening and imitation daily makes a huge difference. The more you engage with real English, the more natural your speaking becomes, and soon you'll find yourself thinking and expressing effortlessly in English. Listening actively and imitating native speakers transforms English from a set of rules into a living language that feels natural and addictive to use. Learning English doesn't have to be boring. In fact, making it fun and enjoyable is one of the best ways to get addicted to it. When you enjoy the process, language absorbs naturally, and practice becomes effortless. Start with entertainment. Watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English that match your interests. Listening to your favorite characters or presenters makes learning enjoyable and introduces you to real-life expressions, slang, and natural conversation patterns. Subtitles can help at first, but try to rely on them less over time. Music is another powerful tool. Listen to English songs and follow along with lyrics. Singing along improves pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. You'll also learn phrases and expressions that native speakers actually use. This method combines enjoyment with active language learning, which makes it more memorable. Games and apps can make English interactive and engaging. Word games, quizzes, and language learning apps create a playful environment for practicing vocabulary and grammar. Even small daily challenges can make learning addictive because they provide instant feedback and a sense of achievement. Creative writing is also fun and effective. Write short stories, social media posts, or journal entries in English. Expressing your thoughts creatively reinforces vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure. Sharing your writing with friends or online communities adds motivation and makes practice rewarding. Finally, combine English learning with social interaction. Talk to friends, join online groups, or participate in discussion forums. Making English part of your social life not only improves your skills, but also makes it exciting and habit-forming. By using English in enjoyable ways through movies, music, games, creative writing, and social interaction, you transform learning into a fun, engaging, and addictive activity. The more you enjoy it, the more naturally your skills improve. One of the most effective ways to get addicted to English is to surround yourself with it everywhere. When English becomes part of your environment, you absorb it passively, and using it starts to feel natural rather than forced. Start with your digital environment. Change the language settings on your phone, computer, and social media accounts to English. Follow English-speaking content creators, subscribe to English podcasts, and join online communities. The more you see, hear, and interact in English, the more your brain adapts to it. Physical surroundings matter too. Label objects in your home with their English names, write reminders or notes in English, and try thinking in English about daily tasks. Even simple actions like narrating what you're doing while cooking or cleaning help reinforce language in a natural context. Spend time with English-speaking friends or groups. Real-life interactions provide exposure to natural phrases, pronunciation, and conversational flow. If you don't have native speakers nearby, online platforms like language exchanges or discussion forums are excellent alternatives. Another tip is to integrate English into your hobbies. Whether you enjoy reading, gaming, sports, or music, doing these activities in English enhances learning without feeling like a chore. For example, follow English tutorials, watch English gameplay videos, or read about your favorite sport in English. Finally, remember that passive exposure is powerful. Even listening to English in the background while commuting or doing chores helps your brain process the language naturally. Over time, constant exposure transforms English from something you study into something you live, breathe, and enjoy daily. Surrounding yourself with English creates a natural learning environment, making the language part of your everyday life and helping you become fluent without effort. Speaking English regularly is essential to become fluent and confident. Conversation practice trains your brain to respond quickly, improves pronunciation, and helps you use vocabulary naturally. The key is to make speaking a daily habit, no matter how small. Start with short conversations. Talk to friends, classmates, or colleagues in English for a few minutes every day. Even simple topics like your day, hobbies, or plans are enough to build confidence. Gradually, increase the complexity and length of your conversations. If you don't have someone to talk to, practice self-talk. Narrate your actions, describe your surroundings, or explain your thoughts aloud in English. This method strengthens your fluency, helps you think in English, and reduces hesitation in real conversations. Language exchange platforms are also helpful. You can connect with native speakers or other learners worldwide through apps and websites. Speaking with others exposes you to different accents, slang, and expressions, which improves both understanding and natural usage. Another effective strategy is role-playing scenarios. Practice situations like ordering food, asking for directions, or making small talk. This prepares you for real-life situations and reduces anxiety when similar situations occur naturally. Finally, remember that consistency matters more than perfection. Speaking every day, even for a few minutes, reinforces learning and gradually makes English a natural part of your communication. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and eventually speaking English feels effortless and enjoyable. Daily conversation practice is the bridge between learning English and using it confidently in real life, helping you develop fluency and a natural speaking style. Grammar often intimidates learners, but to speak English confidently, it's important to understand it naturally rather than memorizing endless rules. The goal is to use grammar correctly without thinking too much, so your speech flows smoothly. Start by learning grammar in context. Instead of memorizing isolated rules, notice how sentences are structured in movies, books, podcasts, or conversations. For example, pay attention to how people use tenses, prepositions, or conjunctions naturally. Observing patterns in real usage helps your brain internalize grammar intuitively. Another approach is practical application. Whenever you learn a new grammar point, try to use it immediately in writing or speaking. For instance, if you learn the past tense, narrate events from yesterday aloud or in a journal. Using grammar actively reinforces understanding and makes it automatic. Don't aim for perfection at first. Making mistakes while practicing grammar is normal. Over time, your brain notices patterns and self-corrects. The focus should be on communication and clarity, not flawless sentences. Mistakes are stepping stones towards fluency. Combine grammar learning with phrases and expressions. Memorizing common phrases like "I'm looking forward to it" or "that sounds great" helps you speak naturally while using correct grammar subconsciously. You gradually absorb sentence structures without studying them explicitly. Finally, review and reflect regularly. Occasionally revisit tricky grammar points and see how you can apply them in conversations. This reinforces learning and ensures that grammar becomes a tool for natural, confident speech rather than a burden. By learning grammar in context, applying it actively, and embracing mistakes, you develop a natural flow in English, making your speaking smooth, confident, and effortless. English is not just a language, it's a tool for personal and professional growth. The more you use it to access knowledge, share ideas, and connect with others, the more motivated and addicted you become to learning and improving. Start by reading and listening to educational content in English. Watch tutorials, listen to podcasts, or read articles on topics that interest you. This not only improves your vocabulary and comprehension, but also makes learning enjoyable and meaningful. When you connect English with personal growth, it feels rewarding rather than like a task. Communicating ideas in English is another powerful way to reinforce learning. Write blog posts, participate in online discussions, or present your thoughts in English. Explaining your ideas to others strengthens fluency, confidence, and critical thinking skills. Using English also expands opportunities. Whether for career advancement, studying abroad, or networking internationally, English opens doors that may otherwise be closed. When you see the real-world value of English, motivation increases naturally, making practice feel worthwhile and addictive. Another strategy is combining English with problem-solving or hobbies. For instance, follow cooking recipes, coding tutorials, or fitness guides in English. Applying language to your interests strengthens learning and helps retain vocabulary and expressions naturally. Finally, remember that growth comes from curiosity and application. Don't just passively learn English, use it to explore new ideas, solve problems, and share knowledge. This active approach keeps your brain engaged, improves fluency, and makes English a permanent part of your life. By using English as a tool for learning and growth, you create a positive feedback loop. The more you use it, the better you get, and the more you want to keep learning. Many learners struggle with speaking English because of fear or shyness. Worrying about mistakes, judgment, or not being understood can prevent you from practicing. Overcoming this fear is crucial to becoming fluent and speaking confidently. Start by accepting imperfection. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time, not even native speakers. Mistakes are natural and a part of learning. When you stop fearing errors, you free yourself to speak more often and with more confidence. Another strategy is gradual exposure. Begin with small, low-pressure situations, like speaking to yourself, texting in English, or talking with a trusted friend. Gradually increase the difficulty, such as joining a group discussion, participating in online forums, or speaking with strangers. Each successful step reduces fear and builds courage. Positive reinforcement helps too. Celebrate small victories like completing a conversation, understanding a video, or using a new word correctly. Recognizing progress boosts self-esteem and encourages consistent practice. Role-playing and preparation are effective as well. Practicing dialogues, common questions, or situational conversations in advance helps you feel ready and reduces anxiety when speaking in real situations. Finally, focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is to express ideas clearly and be understood. Fluency and confidence come from using English regularly, not from avoiding mistakes. The more you speak despite fear, the faster you improve and the more natural your English becomes. Overcoming fear and shyness allows you to speak freely, confidently, and naturally, which is essential for becoming addicted to English and making it a permanent part of your life. Staying motivated is essential when learning English. Without visible progress, it's easy to feel discouraged. Tracking your improvements and celebrating milestones helps you stay committed and enjoy the journey. Start by setting measurable goals. For example, aim to learn a certain number of new words each week, hold a 5-minute conversation in English, or finish an English book or podcast. Clear goals give you direction and a sense of accomplishment when achieved. Keep a journal or log of your English practice. Write down new words, phrases, grammar points, or notes from conversations and lessons. Seeing how much you've learned over time is motivating and reinforces memory. Another strategy is recording yourself periodically. Speak about your day, narrate a story, or read aloud from a book. Listening to earlier recordings compared to current ones reveals progress in pronunciation, fluency, and confidence. This feedback boosts motivation and shows tangible improvement. Reward yourself for milestones. Treat yourself when you reach a goal. Watch a favorite movie, enjoy a snack, or take a break. Associating achievements with positive feelings strengthens your habit and makes learning addictive. Finally, stay inspired by content and communities. Follow English learners, watch motivational videos, or join groups where progress is shared. Seeing others succeed encourages you to keep practicing and reminds you that fluency is achievable.